the EV charger boondoggle lives to see another day. But under the Trump administration, they're working to make sure that the charging stations actually get built.
This is the program that notoriously installed. These weren't 300 stations. These were just 300 charging ports, I think, despite getting $5 billion from Congress. Changes have been in the works since Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was sworn in. He discussed it right here on The Bottom Line earlier this year.
What's going to happen is any obligations that have been currently made, like contracts that have been signed, those are going to still be funded, but there'll be no new funding priorities or projects as we go through a review process. Now, that's up for the Congress. If they want to claw the money back in reconciliation or some other means, they can do that. But for my purposes, I want to make sure that we're reviewing the program to make sure if you're going to spend money to build chargers, well, you should probably build chargers.
By the way, why wasn't the secretary wearing a tie and a coat? Where was he going? Anyway, I digress. Go ahead, Jackie.
Okay, our next guest is doing exactly what the secretary did suggest, despite that he wasn't wearing a coat and tie, taking action in Congress to claw that money back. Let's welcome Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison. He sits on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. It has not been a great program, and that is a lot of taxpayer money, sir. What is the process to see through, to claw it back and make it actually work for the American taxpayer?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's been a huge boondoggle, and the Biden administration made it worse by imposing a ton of their woke policies and regulations on it. Everything from requiring listening sessions with disadvantaged communities. They required unions to be able to have to do all the work. They required additional environmental reviews on top of the, overly regulatory NEPA reviews that were already required. And so it took a program that was already a waste of taxpayer dollars and made it an absolute, monstrosity. And this is why I applaud Secretary Duffy for at least eliminating those policies. But at the end of the day, we need to claw back all this money, and it's going to take an act of Congress. I've got a bill called the UNPLUG EV Act that will do just that, and I hope that we can get that placed on either the next reconciliation bill or get it passed.
How much money is left, Congressman, out of that program? How much is left to claw back?
I think there's about $5.8 billion that's left in that program, which is a lot of money in my opinion. I used to be a state lawmaker, and $5.8 billion would run the entire education system for the state of Missouri. So that is a lot of money. And look, especially when we're at $37 trillion in debt, the American taxpayer doesn't need to be funding or picking a winner and loser in this marketplace and throwing money after a product that people may not really want. I know in Southwest Missouri, people don't really embrace EVs like they do everything else.
Right. And also you've got those subsidies going away. A lot of people were just attracted to the EV because they thought they were getting a discount on it. But at the end of the day, this technology is just really not effective for people. It's not where it needs to be with respect to efficiency. And so sales have just dropped.
That's right. And it's because people really don't really want these vehicles. The technology has got to get better, right? If the range has got to improve before people start adopting it, but it's not government's role to step in and start funneling money, taxpayer dollars, to fund, a market that doesn't exist. And so I hope that we can eventually claw back this $5.8 billion that's left, and hopefully save, reduce our debt. But at the end of the day, the money that's already been spent, to your point, it's built less than 100 charging stations, which is pathetic.
Leave it to the government. No offense. But I always look at it in terms of, Congressman, before we jump, you said it's almost $6 billion. You said it's $5.8 billion. That's enough to fund NASA. That's transportation. The Secretary Duffy oversees it as well. Transportation that we care about. That's the future. We control space. We control war on the ground. That's enough to fund NASA for it. a quarter of the year at least. So I look at it like that. Congressman Eric Burlison, great to see you, sir.
Thank you.